Thank you. Thank you for your interest in my presentation, which is about pedagogy of business English to meet current trends of professional communication. I'm Dr. Mabel Chen from the Baptist University of Hong Kong. This is the outline of the presentation. I will start giving some brief background information of the study, and then outline the research questions, and then how I collected and analyzed the data, major findings, specifically quantitative and qualitative data, and then we will discuss the pedagogical implications. Now, English has been extensively used as the medium for communication in international business context. The term business English as a lingua franca, BELF, was first used to refer to English use as a neutral and shared communication code. It is neutral in the sense that none of the speakers can claim it as his or her mother tongue. It is shared in the sense that it is used for conducting business within the global business discourse community, whose members are BELF users and communicators in their own right. Now, as a lingua franca in international business communication, a number of spoken and written forms of communication are conducted in English. This includes business negotiations, meetings, oral presentations in spoken form, as well as email messages, advertising text in written forms. English has been commonly used in a number of business genres in either spoken or written form. English is considered as a value-added language that is closely related to upward mobility in Hong Kong society. Its importance remains even after its return to Chinese rule after 1997. A large-scale study involving over 2,000 Chinese professionals in Hong Kong was conducted in 2003 to examine the needs of using spoken and written English in the Hong Kong workplace. It was found that written English still plays a significant role in the workplace after 1997, and the frequency of communicating in English increases with rank and experience. A follow-up study was carried out in 2010. The focus of the study was on how easy or difficult the professionals found about different sub-skills of spoken and written English. Written and spoken English use in the areas of writing, reading, listening, and speaking. It was found that email writing is the most common medium for both internal and external communication. Again, the need to communicate in English grows with rank and work experience. My study in 2014, involving 215 working adults, reported the spoken and written needs of professionals in the local Hong Kong workplace, the challenges they meet, what they perceive as the most difficult spoken and written communication means, and also professionals' concerns about the course content to make business English courses effective. Press briefings and business negotiations were considered as the most challenging spoken means of communication, while business plans, business publicity, contracts, and proposals were found to be the most challenging written means of communication. More than a decade has passed since the large-scale study conducted by Evans 2010 concerning language use of Chinese professionals in the local workplace. So this study aims to examine local language use in the workplace concerning spoken communication, written communication, and the use of enterprise social media. Besides examining perceived language use through a questionnaire survey, participants also had the opportunity to illuminate in detail their language use and communicative needs in a subsequent interview. So specifically, the following research questions are addressed in this study. Number one, what are the common spoken communicative needs in the local workplace? as perceived by Chinese professionals in the 21st century? What is the relative importance of English, Cantonese, and Putonghua? What are the factors that are considered important in spoken and written communication? And how can the findings help inform pedagogy? The participants of this study were working adults of different ranks in different professions in the 4 key industries in Hong Kong. Email messages were sent to different business professional bodies to invite their members to participate in the survey and also the interviews. Graduates of the Department of English of the Hong Kong Polytechnic University were also approached. The alumni were asked to invite their colleagues and also friends to fill in the questionnaire and join the interview. So a total number of 163 participants filled in the online questionnaire. 66 of them joined the interview. Most of the Chinese professionals had work experience of 1 to 15 years. We had a similar percentage of female and male participants. In terms of age, they were mostly in the age range of 31 to 40. A questionnaire in the form of a Google form consisting of 2 sessions was developed. In session 1, participants were asked to give personal information concerning their gender, age, the sector or professions they are working in, ownership of the company, years of work experience, and their rank in the current job. Session 2 concerns the language needs of the professionals. It examines the frequency of using different means of communication, including spoken, written, and also enterprise social media. The interview aims to examine in detail the communicative needs of Chinese professionals in the Hong Kong workplace. 66 Chinese professionals from each rank and 4 key industries were involved. There were 33 males and 33 female interviewees who had work experience of 1 to 30 years. There were interview questions related to spoken communicative needs, written communicative needs, and the use of ESM, in addition to effectiveness of a business English course. In terms of data analysis, we had a quantitative and qualitative data. For quantitative data, there were 2 main parts in the questionnaire. Descriptive analysis was conducted for the personal information in section 1 of the questionnaire. MS Excel 365 was used for means calculation and ranking for section 2 of the questionnaire. Repeated measures and over was then used to calculate the difference in the mean scores and also significance among the items and groups. Interviews were conducted with 66 Chinese professionals. The purpose of the interview, as I just mentioned, was to allow participants to explain in detail their perception, as noted in the questionnaire, concerning spoken communicative needs, written, use of ESM, and the expectation of a business English course. So using Envival 1.2, the interview data were coded based on themes which appeared in the interview, and also the data were segregated accordingly. So I'm going to show you the findings. So here are the findings. The spoken communication means are the spoken communication means included are telephone conversations, presentation, face-to-face meetings, online meetings, appraisal, job interviews, negotiation, and small talk. Now, as you can see, overall, Cantonese is used for spoken communication in the local workplace. The mean is the highest compared with English, Putonghua, and also other languages. Okay, so Cantonese, the mean 3.5, English 2.91, Putonghua 1.98, other languages 1.03. So how about the top 3 frequently used spoken communication means in Cantonese and English? The top 3 most frequently used communication means, spoken communication means in Cantonese are small talk, telephone conversations, and face-to-face meetings. The least frequent are online meetings, appraisals, and job interviews. The study was conducted before COVID-19, so perhaps there may be some differences now in terms of the use of online meetings. In using spoken communication means in English, the top three are telephone conversations, presentations, and small talk. And the least are appraisals, online meetings, and job interviews. Now, regardless of the languages used, telephone conversation has the highest overall mean and appraisals the least. So this is a language used for written communication. Now, the written communication means covered negative messages, goodwill messages, sales correspondence, inquiry messages, replies to inquiries, newsletters, business proposals, business reports, menus, and also memos. Now, overall, English is mostly used for written communication in the local workplace. As you can see, the mean is the highest compared with Chinese and other languages. Email is also much more frequently adopted as the means of communication compared with letter. The top three most frequently used written communication in English are replies to inquiries, and goodwill messages, and the least are newsletters, business proposals, and business reports. In using written communication means in Chinese, the top three are replies to inquiries, and goodwill messages. The least are business reports, business proposals, and newsletters. So regardless of the languages used, replies to inquiries has the highest overall mean, and newsletters the least. Okay, the mean is 2.71 for replies to inquiries, regardless of languages, and the mean for newsletters 1.94. So most text types are produced using email, but the gap is the smallest concerning goodwill messages. 89.5% of the Chinese professionals use email, and the remaining letters in conveying goodwill messages. The ESM tools examined are blogs, Enterprise Wiki, Virtual Worlds, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Line, WeChat, YouTube, and Twitter. Now, overall, English is mostly used for ESM, except for Line and WeChat, when participants mostly use Chinese for communication. So here you can see the most and least needed ESM in the workplace. The most frequently used ESM in English is WhatsApp, and the least are Line, Twitter, and WeChat. In using ESM in Chinese, the most frequent one is WhatsApp, and the least Twitter. Now, regardless of the languages used, WhatsApp has the highest overall mean, and Twitter the least. The overall means of using spoken communication, written communication, and enterprise social media indicate that the use of enterprise social media seems to be in the initial stage. So in the second session of the questionnaire, participants were asked to indicate the difficulty of a number of factors in communicating in both spoken and written communication. So here, I'm going to show you some factors they considered important in both spoken and written communication. All right. Now, there were a total of 7 factors for them to indicate the importance using the Likert scale of 1 to 5. They are language use, persuasiveness, structure, target audience, understanding of cultural differences, persuasiveness, and the use of nonverbal communication. Okay, let me show you the specific findings. Now, for spoken communication, the most important factor is understanding of the target audience. All right, then nonverbal use of communication. In this category, confidence got the highest mean, persuasion, content, understanding of cultural differences, structure, and language use. Now, for written communication, the ranking is different. The Chinese professionals found structure the most important, specifically how to be more coherent in writing, followed by language use, specifically choice of words, understanding of the target audience, persuasion, content, and understanding of cultural differences. So you can see the order is different for both spoken communication and written communication, showing the different degree of importance, okay, as perceived by the professionals. So let's look at the details. Now, among these factors, target audience is regarded as the most important. Okay, for spoken communication, okay, understanding the target audience is regarded as the most important. Specifically, understanding the needs and expectations and requirement of the target audience. The second most important factor is the use of non-verbal means of communication, specifically confidence. So confidence is regarded as the most important in this category when talking about the use of non-verbal means. And persuasiveness is the third most important factor. The overall mean is 4.17. Content is another factor considered important in spoken communication. Specifically, it's about including relevant information. Language use is regarded as the least important among other factors in spoken communication. Choice of word is considered the most important, while accent is considered least important. Okay, so written communication. Now for written communication, language use and structure are regarded as the most important factors. For language use, choice of words and the use of a variety of sentence structures have the highest mean. For structure, the most important factor concerns how to make the text coherent. So the second most important factor is understanding the target audience, specifically understanding what they expect and require. The most important factor is persuasiveness. The third most important factor is persuasiveness. The least important factor in written communication, according to the participants, is cultural differences, understanding cultural differences. Okay, here I'm going to show you some interview extras concerning what makes spoken communication difficult or challenging. So this is about target audience. So target audience is the most challenging because I have to pay attention when I speak to senior colleagues. Different target audience may have their own needs regarding the information or advice they want. So target audience can affect everything to be presented. So it's good that the Chinese professionals understand how the target audience might affect spoken communication. So when talking to different target groups, for example, talking to the senior management, their boss, they may need to adjust the speaking style or content. All right, non-verbal means of communication. So about keeping eye contact may not be easy, especially when people or the speakers focusing on the chart, data, information. You cannot keep eye contact with them. Persuasiveness is something difficult, all right, may not be trained easily, even with training. So these Chinese professionals think persuasion, how to persuade, is a difficult skill. All right, so let's see content. All right, content. So it's about how to attract the audience, creative and interesting content, presenting something relevant, not redundant, accurate and practical information and suggestions. Okay. So now let's have a look at the interview extras concerning what makes written communication difficult or challenging. So this is about language use, grammar, choice of words, language style. It's also about being concise. Okay, they are important. Okay, so Grammar important. Choice of words are very important. Okay, so this is about structure. Okay, structure is important. All right, so it's about clarity, how you convey your message in a well-organized manner. Okay, how to make your text coherent. Okay, yeah, coherent and cohesive. Okay. So this is about target audience, understanding their expectation, what they need, what they require, what they want to know. This is about persuasion, persuasiveness. Okay, how to persuade other people to take action. All right, how can you influence other people's perception? Okay, so that they can agree with you. Okay. So finally, there was a question asking the Chinese professionals to suggest what makes a business English course effective. Small talk was mentioned most, in addition to other written and spoken means of communication such as presentations, interviews, chairing meetings, negotiations, telephone conversations, writing email, negative messages, persuasive proposals, and the use of ESM. Regarding communication strategies, so besides language use and text structure mentioned by a few of them, most interviewees found a number of other factors more significant in communicating effectively in the workplace, including understanding of cultural differences, nonverbal communication, politeness, conciseness, and also ways to communicate with senior members of staff in an organization. For example, how to conduct small talk, how to be more polite, how to convey negative messages. So these are something we may need to cover in a business English course. So in terms of pedagogy, there are three main areas that are worth attention. Intertextuality, number two, multiple communication, and communicative competence. Now, professionals in this study talk about using email before and after having telephone conversations, and also phone calls before and after meetings, indicating the interrelations between different text types. Now, although there have been studies in the literature discussing intertextuality in both spoken and written discourse, the findings do not seem to reach teachers, curriculum developers, and also textbook writers. Studies show that topics covered in business English courses are discrete, and people do not seem to be aware of the skills involved in communicating in an intertextual manner. So this is something which should be covered. Chinese professionals in this study also found the need to handle multiple communications in the workplace. For example, talking on the phone while typing email messages or texting while having meetings. Such research findings about multiple communication point to the need for not just effective but efficient communication in the nowadays workplace. There should be scenarios and tasks designed for students in business English classes so that students can make decisions engaging in multiple communications using the skills and language required. Communicative competence was introduced in 1966 to discuss the importance of not just accuracy but also appropriacy. So as you know, there are a number of components, all right, linguistic competence, sociolinguistic competence, discourse competence, and also strategic competence. Now, besides communicative competence concerning accuracy and appropriacy, I also suggest adding workplace awareness. Okay, this is a new component, workplace awareness, which seems to be the starting point for one to pursue accuracy and appropriacy. In other words, before you can produce something accurate or appropriate, we need to be first aware of the current and also ever-changing workplace communication conventions before accuracy and appropriacy can be well interpreted in context. So given the dominant use of online meetings through Zoom and other means during COVID-19, there is also a need to examine how the use of communication means might change and also the implications. Specific communication strategies, specific communication challenges faced by professionals in the workplace, how the difficulties can be addressed are other topics to be examined to help develop our workplace awareness for effective and efficient communication. Through shadowing or collection of actual examples of workplace text, the notion of intertextuality, multiple communication, and communicative competence can further be explored and clarified. So this is the end of my presentation, and here you can see the references. Thank you.